Howdy there, friends. A client session, two sessions this morning. So very inspiring. It's so different. Like, wow, just so different from each other, as is every. By the way, my wife has a lot of Mary type things going on in the house. Look at all that. Mary's everywhere you turn in this corner. It's like a little shrine to Mary. And they're in some of my videos. I wanted to point out that we're not in the slightest bit religious of any sort. and yet my wife has this thing for Mary. I like it. I just wanted to explain. We weren't fundamentalists, whatever. Where was I going? Oh yeah, clients so different from each other, and I love that. And it just, from a teaching standpoint, it just reminds me of, something that I say quite often here is just that your vibe matters every bit as much as your thing that you carry, in your work, because your vibe is delightful to certain people, or is medicine for certain people. But what I was actually going to talk about was, do I remember what I was going to talk about? Research, yes. So the first client this morning, it can be hard to think about or to even know the right questions to ask to figure out what our thing is. And I don't think it needs to be so hard. I think what makes it so hard for a lot of us are the just about 1,027 assumptions that we've got baked into us from, our past and from seeing how things work around us and stuff. And we think things have to be a certain way to the point that we don't realize we even think that. And one of the things that really gets in the way of people, even when they intellectually know the difference, we can still get, fall into this. And it's that we have to be an expert at something. So an example, to get straight to the point. Let's say you're fascinated with art, like creative art, perhaps. Painting, let's say, and things very adjacent to it. And you think, God, I'd love to just paint every day and have paint be part of my income and my work and maybe teach people how to paint and stuff, but I'm not an expert. I'm only a mediocre painter myself, maybe, or something. And so the conversation in one's mind in terms of, is my thing painting, goes down that road. But that's unfortunate, because I think that sometimes expertise is a great reason to have a thing. You're really good at something, and that makes you very, it's easy to sell it. Or I don't know if it's easy, but you can sell it because you're good at a thing. But your passion for a thing is equally as gorgeous, if not sometimes more gorgeous. You imagine that same person. Let's say if I were to ask a different question, and it was a conversation with the client this morning that reminded me of it, is that if you could just study anything you wanted for the next, pick a time frame, I'm just making it up, 2 years, 2 months, whatever, like a nice period of time for you that feels delicious and spacious. And you could study, you could follow your curiosity like a bloodhound running through a meadow, and what would you study, And if I link that back to the art woman example, which is hypothetical, the art woman, I'm not an expert, therefore I can't teach painting, maybe this isn't my business. But what if that same person is passionate about art and frankly would love to learn all kinds of different styles of art? Like maybe they want to dip into watercolors, they want to dip into life drawing, they want to dip into, I can't even just think of other examples, but there must be many other examples of painting, styles and whatnot. And what if she would love to spend 2 years, going to different workshops, trying out different styles, exploring, just having the fun to explore? She could just do that. Maybe that's just a solo activity. Or what if she said that out loud on a sales page and organized a whole bunch of teachers and whatnot for, 6 months or a year or something? Do you want, folks, I love art. I'm only mediocre at it, but I love it, and it changes my life due to this reason and this reason and this reason. And, you give your arguments and your examples and stuff. And I woke up one morning and I thought, I'm going to explore for 2 solid years. Pick a name, pick a time frame. And I went ahead and reached out to these kind of experts. This person does this, and here's why they're passionate about. This person does this. You know, you're building a sales page here, right? And then you simply take people along with you on the journey. Do you want to join me? So a group of 12, I don't know, women. I always use women in examples. 12 people who might want to join me and have an opportunity to meet all of these people. And you could imagine there might even be some deals or economy of scale to work with some of these experts where you're bringing a group in. An argument could be made for that. And so I just can't think of another example now, and the video is already getting long. So let me just say that it's always good to question this expertise thing. If you've got a passion for something, then that is going to take you further than expertise all by itself. And on top of that, if you have expertise and no passion for it, I think that's dead in the water from a calling standpoint. You can do it for money, and especially if you have to. But we're not in this course for that specifically. That's a plan B if we have to, but it's not our primary goal. Our primary goal is, what is my thing, you know? And maybe your thing is the passion for a thing, not the teaching of the thing or being an expert in the thing. And that could be a hell of a cool program. I could almost see people signing up for that tomorrow, you know? I was going to tell another story of something similar. I'll leave that for now, but what do you think?